what I want is to make the VR game that I want to play. And Gunday Driver was me making a compromise and saying, okay, this is a VR game that I want to play, but I have to be realistic and actually make something that's feasible and could be done in 10 months by a small team. That was the original sort of spec for Gunday Driver in my mind. And as soon as that was shifted to, can we make it like an ongoing sort of development service, Patreon sort of system, that lifted a lot of the boundaries and barriers out and of my thinking. And yeah, as soon as Andrew reframed things from we need to secure a £1 million deal to we just need to bring you £5,000 a month or whatever it is what we need to bring in, we've completely opened up what the game could be. So yeah, the scope of the thinking is, it sounds crazy, but if we build it in layers and we build things methodically and focus on what the fun is. So Andrew's driving around San Francisco right now. This is a OSM data map of San Francisco, which is, I don't know how big this is now, but it's quite big. You know, it's a quarter of San Francisco, and it's all accurate because it's satellite data. It's all flat at the moment, which is kind of frustrating, but that's something that we'll figure out, because what we're hoping to do is take this information. Oh yeah, that's actually a subway, underground station that has been put above ground. So
can you guys see through Discord? You getting the live stream there?
I'm watching it on Twitch.
Okay,
but,
you can. But it is working.
Yeah.
Your voice on stream is a little bit quiet, and the game is a bit quiet.
Well, there's not much audio in the game, so that's fine. And I will speak louder. I will speak much louder. Oh, there we go. Right. So, how about that? If I speak a bit, because I know I'm further away from the mic, so I will just project my voice.
It sounds fine, yeah.
It's a bit better, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll.
We are pretty loud.
In a good way, though. Right, okay, so yeah, as Jack was saying, really when we reframe things and we think like, okay, yes, trying to make this massive city with just the three of us today, yeah, that's big picture thinking. But there are tons of examples of other developers doing this, and every studio starts with a couple of people trying to make something big and expansive, and it really is all about building this stuff up in layers. And we have tons of examples of people doing this in the modern era. From Subnautica to, as we said, in the VR space in particular, games like Onward, Blade and Sorcery, Contractors, starting as kind of one-man projects and expanding out from there, and trying to utilize this cutting-edge technology to do stuff that's truly interesting and different. And what do you see from the big guys? You see things like that fucking Darth Vader game, and Rick and Morty, blibbity blap, stood in a fucking garage, who gives a shit experiences. It's like, yeah, okay, you're taking IP and you're utilizing that in a VR space to make a couple of pennies, like to make some money here and there. But is that really the best for gamers? So what Jack's built, first off, was this car and this driving system, which we just demonstrated a little bit of. And we've got a basic implementation of locomotion, right? So I should be able to, if I...
Yeah, you have to be moving if you want to sprint.
Bit of motion, I can sprint around, and as you can see, I think my camera's working. I have no idea. I hope this is all working. But I'm sat down and I'm running around with this very smooth motion system, which feels very natural to run around in as I just tilt around, all this kind of stuff. I can jump, crouch, and then this is so when we were small scale thinking, we're not thinking about a big city. We're thinking about point A to B driving. Okay. What Jack built with the locomotion system of the car is awesome, but it's obviously we're limited to just having a car. And we really started thinking about like freedom with this game. Like we want to make, and I spotted a few people in the comments saying like, who needs GTA 6? And yeah, like fuck GTA 6, because that's just going to be GTA 5 again, but with like better tech. And I think that it's leaked that they're spending like $2 billion on it or whatever. And it's like, okay, you're spending loads of money to make it graphically nicer, cool, and there'll probably be like horse balls that expand and contract, or the equivalent, hey, you did that in Red Dead, that's so cool. But it's going to be the same experience again and again. Why? Because that makes money. They're not doing stuff to make to push the realms of gaming forwards. They're doing things to make more money. That's the primary, and as Jack said, we need to make money, but we're passionate about this. It's more, if we just wanted to make money, we'd be making like gacha mobile games and shit, or doing client work, of which there's plenty. It's boring as hell, but there's plenty of work to do. But Jack thinking about like, how can we do stuff that's interesting and differently? I'm going to try and demonstrate now this locomotion system we built. So do you want to talk a little bit about this, Jack, as I climb around, or attempt to?
Yeah, I mean this is a jankier build than what I'm actually making right now, but yeah, I'm trying to make the game as dynamically as possible, which means systems that should just work and interact with other systems without a designer having to slap you on the wrist for doing something wrong. So the climbing system in this game it's based on just traces firing from your hand, so you can technically climb on anything if it's climbable. Tried to come up with this system where if you look at something and say, oh, my hand could fit there, then you can climb it. Because I was working on the Horizon VR game, and all the handholds in that had to be placed by designers because they were climbable handholds, and it was great for building very precise levels. But there were some instances where I'd be playing the game and I'd look at a new piece of art had gone in, and you'd look at a nice looking rock wall, and you'd see all the details, and you think, right, okay, well I can put my hand on that and climb it, but it wasn't the official designated climbable handhold, so your hand would go through it. Whereas this system, I built it sort of backwards. I haven't designated climbable handholds. I've just said the hand just fires lasers out and says, is this climbable? Which means that this ladder that is being climbed on now is not, it's just a static mesh. And you can climb on, you can't do it in this build because this is the older build, but yeah, you can climb on moving things. So you climb on, if someone's flying a helicopter around, you could climb on their helicopter, you could climb on flying, driving vehicles. If someone is, if someone's driving a car, I mean, this is something that will work in the new build. If someone's driving a car, you could climb on it and then reach in and grab the steering wheel and steer it, or you could change, you put the handbrake on and, think about their car, wrestle for the steering. Cheers, man. Thanks, Nathan. Yeah, it's, I prefer to think about things like that dynamically, so that you can climb every building technically in this city now, and I didn't have to place a single handhold in that is designated as a climbable blueprint. Whereas working on Horizon, we had to put hundreds of climbable handholds in, and every handhold, it had to be put in by a designer. Basically, it meant that the levels took a lot longer. We can't afford to spend so much time on making things like that. If you wanted to use that system in San Francisco, I'd have to be working for like a year straight, making every ledge and every drain pipe climbable. Well, so this is just a back to front way of doing things, but it's dynamic. So that's what I'm trying to apply for every single system in this game, because it's such a big idea that we'd be stupid to try and do everything bespoke. But yeah, systems, like you say, tools not rules. That's the best way of sort of summing up the general approach.
You had that with the Gunday driver level, right? Which was a detailed but hand-built version of San Francisco, which took months, whereas obviously this is a rudimentary form, but taking OSM data and being able to generate a much larger play space with mechanics like this that, so long if there's climbable surfaces, hey, look, I can climb on it. Nobody had to design that. It is what it is. So being able to use tools like Houdini to dress up this play area with assets, with pipes and ladders and all sorts that people climb up and jump around on, or as I will attempt to do now, jump off and just go, oh my god, that's something which is going to be a hell of a lot more achievable than if we said, hey, we've got to manually place absolutely everything down in this environment.
Yeah, it's just, we're going to have to be very clever with how we build this game. We're going to have to, set up, tools and interactive systems rather than the minutiae of these things. And that's where I think the most fun stuff comes from in games. I think that the most fun stuff is emergent gameplay. If I give you a bunch of tools and then let you loose in this world, I want you to be able to say, hey, did you know you could do this and that and the other? And I'd say, I have no idea you could do that. That's you. You've invented that strategy, that technique. Some of this, there's going to be bugs from this. There's going to be things that we don't want players to do, but I also don't want to. When I say I don't want players to do it, I'm talking about things like they can fall through the ground. But if you can exploit the game and do something fun, then I want people to have fun playing the game. So that's a legitimate thing to me. This should be a playground where you can sort of experiment with crazy ideas. So that's the approach that we're taking. It's play with these things, see how they interact with one another. For example, I put pockets in, and I've changed. So currently, Andrew, So one of the most recent changes to them was to change the player character. Right now, Andrew is a helicopter with VR hands, and when he gets out the helicopter, if you got out, you would then become a human and the helicopter would be unpossessed, and the hands would be hidden. So it's not. This is the old way. The new way now is you're actually a person that gets into the vehicle, which means you can take your pockets with you. So if you've got like a Desert Eagle, you can do drive-bys from like jets, which is just funny. Like I love flying the jet over San Francisco and like just trying to shoot buildings with a pistol because it's so stupid, but you can do that now. And the funny thing is this is how VR works. It's kind of simpler like that. I didn't have to with this system. I had set up a specific player for the helicopter and possession and non-possession and transfer weapons from one to the other if you're holding them. A lot of stuff, but now by simplifying it, it's simultaneously more realistic and it's better and it's simpler from like a coding standpoint. We're not even bothering with any of that rubbish. Oh yeah, the helicopter, it looks like it's a bit unstable at times.
He's coming back. Oh, I think he's settled down. Alright, I'll see you later, mate.
I have climbed on it when it's done that before, and what happened was when I let go, my player was upside down, and that was it was disorientating at first, but it was hilarious because I was looking up at the ground. It's like when Neo falls from that jump in the Matrix. He's upside down, looking above, and I thought, if I have like big drops, could I have you do stuff like that? Would that make you ill? So that's something I'm going to test because it felt like I was falling to my death because I was looking. My feet were pointing towards the sky. So any stupid stuff like that, I want to sort of lean into because it's fun, right? You know, and a big game, if you're making a game based on an IP, they would say, oh, it doesn't totally fit in with the universe that's been established. It doesn't fit in with the established lore. You can't do that. I want to say, is it fun? Does it break the game? If it breaks the game in a bad way, well, obviously we'll try to fix it. But is it fun and it doesn't break the game completely? Then let's lean into it and then embrace that sort of stuff. We've kind of forced ourselves into a development mindset with this game because we have to just make the most fun game possible. We don't have an IP. We don't have like existing storyline or characters that we can sort of play on and say, okay, people love this character, so they're going to want to play this game. We have to just sort of make the most fun, intuitive VR game that we can, and otherwise we won't succeed in what we're trying to do. Yeah, so wingsuits, you know, that's one of the things that we've talked about. I'll put wingsuits in soon because I think that will be fairly straightforward. Oh, nice.
You alright, mate? I climb up?
I have no idea what's going to happen if you try to take off.
I'm going to try. I'm going to get in. Here we go. Hey!
Oh, is it self-righted? Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's self-righted.
Yeah, that's good.
It's kind of good, not realistic, but, you know, at least... Yeah, so collisions, you'll be able to fly the helicopter through walls because I haven't put helicopter or jet collisions in at the moment. I need to think about how it's going to work.
But it's just, you know, when we were stood up on the building, and you know, when you gave me this first build, so like when Jack first put in this OSM data, he didn't tell me. He kept it very secret. So that my first time experiencing this was like a complete surprise. And this was a test that actually didn't take you that long. But just, you know, if I just get this back up, looking out, it's like, you know, what would you know, when we took a look back at Gunday driving, we thought, okay, is driving down one street for 5 minutes going to be more exciting and interesting than flying helicopters over a massive city, shooting criminals and throwing poo at hobos and doing all sorts of crazy shit? And it's like, objectively, this is the more fun game. This is the thing that people are actually going to want to play if you gave them a choice between the two. It's the thing that we would rather make. So, yeah, okay, this is very, very expansive. There's a massive amount of scope, but we're in complete control of it. We can do as much or as little of this as possible, but we can get down to the root of like making an amazing game that pushes the boundaries of technology. And you know, that was another revelation that we had from just talking to people about gaming and just our thoughts and feelings as gamers as well as developers. Really, the big thing about like why games are in decline is that they don't really surprise and impress anymore because they're always chasing the bottom line. Hence why mobile exploded, hence why battle royales are super popular. No one's excited to hear another battle royale has been announced. That's not pushing the boundaries of gaming forwards, that's not pushing what the technology can really do in any substantial form. It's just an easy way to make money. This is not easy to make. This is not going to be an easy game. But what we've already got is, I mean, this stuff, just flying around in a helicopter, just over Greybox City, is unbelievably exciting, and it fills you with, I mean, I get filled with such a sense of like wonder and excitement and a desire to like explore. I want to go and see what's out there. I want to go see who can I throw poo at. The possibilities are endless, right? Maybe I throw poo. Maybe I attack him with a fucking Apache. Like, that's going to be an amazing experience, and it's not going to be something in this kind of a mode like in VR that you get from any kind of game. So, you know, we want to make this. We're positive gamers would want to see something like this, and someone is eventually going to do this, right? So why not be the first, and why not throw our all into it and make something that is like truly different? Make a great job of it.
Yeah, it's the excitement, I think. With Gunday Driver, when I was originally thinking of it, I had like the whole product mapped out in my mind and how long it would take to make and how many levels it would have realistically, and if it did well, we could expand it by adding this content and these cars, etc., etc. You know, DLC and stuff like that. I was thinking about from a product standpoint, which is what a publisher might want to hear. But as soon as we sort of changed the tactic and approach to this, I mean, technically there's less game here than the other levels. If you play the other linear levels, you can actually like get a high score and you can shoot enemies. Yes, you crashed. Yeah, you're probably completely stuck. No, there you go.
I saved it.
But yeah, the other levels are linear and they have more gameplay in them. Yeah, you are attacked by enemies, you have to survive and shoot, and you can be killed. There's a failure state, there's a win state. So, but this has the potential. There is no failure or win state in this. This is just a sandbox prototype of a giant city. But it's the potential. That's what we want to get people hyped up. I'm wary of things like No Man's Sky. I don't want to be go down that road, which is why I want to take it in a very sort of methodical route and show people from the very beginning. We're showing you this grey box city, and if it takes us, we're hoping to use like Houdini methods, a la The Matrix Awakens, to sort of build a more detailed city quickly. But we don't want to overpromise by saying, oh, you're going to have this, that, and the other. Instead, we're going to say, hey, this is the next thing we've added. It's a kind of ridiculous thing, and if people didn't want it, okay, well, we'll listen to what the community wants and try to add what they want next time. A sort of building in layers and being transparent, I think. That way, we should hopefully avoid selling people the wrong game, or rather the wrong vision, and avoid disappointment and build hype. If you want to see something crazy, for example, karts, we can have a kart racing mode. If you want to see that, we can add that. But we never go in saying, oh, this will also be the best kart racing game that's ever been made, because that's not what we're strictly trying to do. We're just trying to make a fun VR world. And yeah, so it does sound kind of crazy. And if it goes well, it could take us years. But I'm happy to work on this for years because it's so open-ended and has so much potential for stupid moments and funny games. And it is the game that I want to make. That's a huge part of it. It's not just about this game could make money. It has to make money, otherwise we won't be able to finish it. But it's a game that I wake up in the morning and I just think, yeah, this is going to be cool to work on. And I think I'll always have that mindset because it's so open-ended. It's not just, I'm not going to get tired of working on it, basically. That's the gist of it. And I hope that people aren't going to get tired of seeing it because I think it's so open-ended and potential for stupid, funny stuff is just unlimited.